At the grocery store the other day, I found a box of crayons and I thought, that might be fun to play with. It's 64 colors with the sharpener included, my favorite part. Playing around with crayons is so nostalgic. It's definitely not the easiest medium to work with, but I think because they're crayons, you don't get upset about it. No one expects a masterpiece with crayons, so you're free to just play around and have fun. So when I did the video about oil pastels a couple weeks ago, I joked about how they were like crayons for grown-ups, but without the cool sharpener on the back. But so many of you never knew about the sharpener on the back of the box of crayons. How? It's literally the best part. Look at that, it's like magic. Take that, oil pastels. Look, I'm not saying crayons are superior to oil pastels just because they have a sharpener on the back. It's not like a sharpener can help you make a masterpiece or anything. I'm just saying crayons are a whole lot more fun to play with. And in my book, that's what art is all about. Every artist goes through artist block. It's just human nature. Here's what I do when I just can't think of anything to draw or paint. I keep a folder of photos that inspire me, usually from photographers or cosplayers that I like. I may copy the photo exactly just to make something, or if I'm feeling inspired, I'll take bits of many pieces and make something unique. Another one is get out, go around town, sketch people and places and things, keep a journal, try to capture a mood or a moment if you can. Or go to a museum or an art gallery, be inspired by other artists. Doesn't matter if it's the same medium you work in, just copy it and see how that affects your own work. Study the masters, try to discover new movements, Art Nouveau, Impressionism, the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Copy their work, add these elements to your own work. Read a book, watch a movie, do a sketch from that. You can either come up with something on your own or copy from a still of the movie. That's what I do when I'm just going through a blah moment, and it's worked for me for the last 40 plus years. Hopefully it'll help you get through your artist block as well. The other day, I was bored and I decided to make art on a piece of scrap paper. It was 20 inches long, but only 3 inches wide. But I wasn't gonna throw it away because I'm cheap. So I started doodling. And the absurd dimensions of this piece of paper let my mind wander and have fun with the subject's hair. And because it was a piece of scrap paper, there was no pressure on me to make a masterpiece. I could just get lost in the texture of the hair and make art, for me, for fun. No expectations, no worry that I'll be wasting good paper. I get to just play. And when you're just playing, you can feel more confident to try things that you normally wouldn't do, like giving your subject purple hair or trying a new color combination for the background. Art can be serious, art can be powerful and moving, and it can change the world. But art should also be fun and experimental and exciting and playful. So find a scrap piece of paper or try a new medium or a new style. Play, explore, and have fun. This is how I paint clouds with watercolors. It's really simple to do, takes under a minute, and all you need is paper towels. The first thing you're going to do is paint the sky. Now you're going to want to do a very wet application, so a lot of water. I'm using Manganese Blue by Winsor & Newton. It's a really nice sky blue that I use. Also, make sure that you're using cold press watercolor paper. You want it to have a lot of texture to it. Now take that paper towel, crumple it up, and dab while the paint is still wet. You're going to dab just little shapes. This is where the clouds are going to come from. You're lifting up the blue and you're leaving the white paper behind it. And that's it. The combination of the paper towel and the cold pressed watercolor paper and just the chaos of watercolor is going to give you this nice cloud shapes. And the fun thing is, every time you do it, it comes out differently. So I'm starting a new journal and I want to have a consistent border over 30 pages. But I'm lazy and I don't want to draw the same border 30 times. So, hyperfocus, activate. First step, inspiration. Okay, inspiration acquired. Next step, apply acquired inspiration into a design. Now, I shade in the parts I'll need to cut out, and we're ready to trim. To the art cabinet. Transfer paper. Thank you, doggy tape dispenser. Transfer accomplished. To the art cabinet. X-Acto blades. While it was a nice idea to have those little bits in the corner, I quickly decided I wasn't going to try to cut those tiny shapes out. Laziness wins again. And now to see if it'll work. If it works, every page will have the same shape, and I don't have to redraw it every time. It works! Hyperfocus, deactivate. And now I need a nap. Today is my birthday. I'm 57 years old today. Emphasis on the old, I guess. And I thought I would spend the morning making little watercolor paintings for the pinboard at my local art store. I wanted to see if I could make a little painting in about a minute that somehow, in its simplicity, would still feel like my art. So I came up with this little design of a half oval for the face and 2 curved lines for the neck, and then different Art Nouveau-ish styled hair. And then 1 pass of skin color and 1 pass of color for the hair, and poof, I'm done. Just let it go and move on. And that is so hard to do as an artist, to not put in the details, to just scribble something and let it go. But you know what? I kind of like these. They're fun, they're colorful, and I think they'll make great little pieces to put on the pinboard when I do my first ever signing this Saturday. Not including my other first ever signing at Landmark Booksellers tomorrow night. So if you're coming by on Saturday to Plaza Art, you may find these on the pinboard, and if you've brought a piece of art to trade, you can have one. And if you didn't bring art to trade, the fine folks at Plaza Art will be providing art supplies so you can make your own art. Because there's nothing more special than giving someone something that you made. Be it a song you composed, or a poem you wrote, or a painting you made, or a scarf you knitted. The best gifts, the absolute best gifts, are the ones made by you. This is your friendly reminder to all of my artists out there. Don't forget to make disposable art. You heard me. Make art that you have no intention of keeping. Make art that was never meant to be seen by anyone, or hung on a gallery wall, or added to your portfolio. Make disposable art. So a few weeks ago, I wanted to get back into painting with gouache, and it was the beginning of November, and someone suggested I paint Steve Martin and John Candy from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I thought, what the heck? And I knew going in that this was just an exercise, a chance to warm up, to remember how to use gouache. I was rusty and I needed to shake the cobwebs out. And it didn't matter what I painted. It was disposable. It was practice. I could have painted a car, a cat, a bowl of fruit, or a pile of pillows.
Those aren't pillows.
And I had fun, without any expectations, no fear of messing up. Sometimes art can just be fun, playful, experimental. And I really think that's when our art grows the most, when it's disposable. This is the silly, stupid, and completely unimpressive story of how I got my sketchbook cover. It's actually the result of me being bored one day. One summer, my son was making a Plague Doctor cosplay, and there was this faux leather sitting around, just remnant scraps. So I started doodling on it with a pen, and I kind of liked it. So I asked my son to cut it up and turn it into a sketchbook cover for me, which he did. Then, in a fit of boredom, which I think happens to me way too much, I pulled out a soldering iron, and I just wanted to see what would happen. I was curious. I had a soldering iron and faux leather, and I just started playing around, and this kind of happened. I promise I don't run around the house burning various materials with soldering irons. This was a one-time thing. But it was fun, and my son did a great job sewing it together, and I love seeing it on my sketchbook. I love the way it looks. I love the way it fits in my bag. I love the texture. It's just another little piece of art on top of a book full of art. Over the weekend, I asked my YouTube subscribers for ideas of who to paint next, and one of the top requested people was Aurora, spelled with all capital letters. Now, being 53 years old, I wasn't familiar with Aurora, again with all capital letters, so I looked them up. Ha! I know that song. I'm hip. I'm with it. Okay, I know they look like an Oompa Loompa, but trust the process. I really wanted to push myself with this post-impressionist style using acrylic gouache, but it just wasn't clicking today. And as I sat staring at it, ready to rip it up, I thought, why not doodle a bit on top of the painting? So I grabbed a pen and started finding lines, defining shapes. Then I brought in some colored pencils. I was gonna throw the painting out anyhow, so why not try and experiment a bit? Have some fun. Try a new medium. Do something bold. Throw everything at it. Add a little gouache. Get some bright colors in there. Break out your stencils. Find some patterns and shapes. Throw some Hemi gouache at it. I think most artists spend 90% of their time making art terrified they're gonna ruin it, myself included. So when you have a piece that you're gonna throw away anyhow, let go of that terror and just play, experiment, go crazy. Having nothing to lose with your art just might be the cure for you. Should artists be purists when it comes to their art medium? Should colored pencil artists only use colored pencils? Should watercolor artists only use watercolors? Can you blend the two? What would happen if you did?
Worlds are colliding!
I love doodling with a colored pencil. I just like the feel of it. Sometimes I can be really loose and sometimes really detailed. The other day, Olivia Newton-John died, and I just started doodling a sketch of her from the movie Xanadu. When I was done, I wondered if watercolors would work on top of the colored pencils. I'd never tried it before. So I threw some colors on it, and it was kind of cool. With Prismacolors being wax-based, the line art didn't fade at all, but the red from the Prismacolor pencil did affect the watercolors a bit, which honestly didn't bother me. But I wasn't happy with how thin the image looked, meaning I could still see the paper underneath it. Watercolor is transparent by nature, so I started adding gouache to it. Gouache is opaque. And I think here's where it came together. That combination of colored pencils, watercolors, and gouache seemed to bring it to life. I would have never tried combining all my favorite mediums together, but maybe, just like Olivia Newton-John and Xanadu, sometimes your muse can open your eyes to something new, something magical. The fine folks at GameStore asked me to try out their customizable Xbox controllers. You can just pop off the cover and replace it with another one. But the cool part is, you can draw on them. I tried pencils, colored pencils, inks, markers, and even Posca pens. The textured surface took most everything I threw at it. I've never drawn on an Xbox controller, so I was kind of out of my element here. The idea of being able to customize my very own controller with my very own art is pretty neat, I can't lie. But it's also kind of intimidating. I mean, you kind of don't want to screw it up. So take your time, plan it out, and have fun. I got to play around a little more with my new Artex acrylic markers, and they worked out great on the controller surface. I did find myself wanting a bit more subtlety with the skin tones, so I brought out the acrylic wash for some final touches. And finally, I added a gloss varnish to protect it from scratches. And here's the final piece. What do you think? How crazy that you can turn a game controller into a piece of art, a one-of-a-kind original. If you're an artist and a gamer, like me, this is a pretty fun twist to customization, and I really had a lot of fun making this controller cover. But now I'm really interested to see what you do with yours. After I got bored and painted Kurt Cobain on the back of a Whitesnake record last week, my friend Bethany dropped off a bunch of old 45s and, well, I got bored and decided maybe I should paint David Bowie. At first, I was gonna look for records with artists I would paint and, paint on that. Like painting David Bowie on a David Bowie record. But then I thought, why ruin a perfectly good record of a musician I actually like? So today I'm painting on a record by a country singer named Barbara Carter. My apologies to anyone who is a fan of Barbara Carter or country music in general. There's a local guy about 45 minutes from the Hobbit hole selling 500 records for $49, and I gotta say, I was pretty tempted to pick them up. Then I thought, I would totally get bored of painting on 45s the minute I got home with that stack, and never paint another one again. So for now, I'm gonna go onesie-twosie with these. I'll follow the dopamine and see where it takes me. So who should I paint next? Let me know who your musical heroes are. Which musician was your favorite rebel? Is it an old space oddity or a modern love? Let me know in the comments section, and on Monday,